Hey guys, you've joined us on Moneycontrol. We'll talk about the crude oil prices today, where the prices now are up by nearly 9% in the last 1 month, trading at a 10-month highs and trading at around $92 a barrel as well. Well, the prices have surged up because of supply concerns coming out from the output cuts that Saudi Arabia and Russia have talked about. We also have seen concerns come out of Libya and Kazakhstan in sense of supplies, and that seems to be adding premium to prices. But from here, where are we headed? What are the factors you need to watch out for, and the kind of impact that it can have on other asset classes? To have all of those conversations, we are now joined by Mr. Narendra Taneja. He's an energy expert and quite firm actually on his views as well, as we have been speaking in the past as well. Mr. Taneja, thank you so much for joining us. First of all, on the prices itself, and $92 a barrel, even the chartists tell us that this is overbought, but the momentum is on the higher side. Where do you see the prices headed from here on?
Well, $92 per barrel. I mean, if you look at the scenario very carefully, it has nothing to do with demand and supply fundamentals, which all must play an important role in any market for that matter. And at the same time, since geopolitics plays a very important role, in terms of oil prices, and there is no major geopolitical trigger. Ukraine is what Ukraine is, has been like this for months now. And as I said, OPEC may claim that, they can see a big spike in terms of, demand on the horizon, but there is no, OPEC is a cartel, so we really can't go by their projections. But if you look at the ground reality in terms of the major buyers of crude oil, like the United States or China or India or Japan, we don't really see any kind of a major or a big spike in terms of demand. I mean, markets in terms of demands are rather stable, and there are no major supply concerns. Now, the question comes when the market is stable or demand is stable, no major supply concern, then why the prices are going up? The simple answer is that OPEC, as part of the strategy with Saudi Arabia playing the major role, they really want to take the prices up to the level that they want to for a variety of reasons, including the fact that, countries like Saudi Arabia, they need more money for their infrastructure development and so on and so forth, their 2030 plans and so on and so forth. Now, the thing is that how long you can actually afford to manage this thing. If you may recall, about 7-8 months ago, we were in a similar situation. At that time, the United States, India, China, Japan, and even Europe, they all chipped in and in fact created an unprecedented template that they decided to release oil from their SPRs, the Strategic Petroleum Reserves. The result was within 10 days, prices started moving southward. Right. And then OPEC got the response. So now, unfortunately, the United States SPR is kind of not in a great health, is actually down, quite a bit. India, will try if there are efforts like that. But at the same time, I think unless there is a response like that, it may not be as strong as it was 7-8 months ago. But if there is a response from the big importers like India, Japan, China, and the United States, then we might see the difference. Because this has been pushed up artificially. And whenever you push the prices up artificially, any commodity, especially when it comes to oil, which is essentially a political commodity, I think it's not sustainable. So prices may go up to $100 per barrel as part of their strategy. The market may respond. But I think at anything, at the present level, like 92 and all, is unsustainable.
Point taken. Mr. Taneja, I'll come to the prices in a bit. I mean, as you said, we can go to 100. It's not sustainable, though, and the current prices may not be sustainable as well. But how much, OPEC has been existing since 1960s, and we've seen OPEC do this time and over again. What would be their, success rate if you've been watching that?
Well, OPEC in most cases has been quite successful because it's a very smart organization. It's a cartel. And Saudi Arabia is a very smart and sophisticated player, in the oil market globally. Very smart, very sophisticated. And within OPEC also, that's why, Saudi Arabia was the most significant. And they're supported by countries like Kuwait. Again, a very sophisticated player in terms of, cartelization. So I think they know their game very well. They're located in Vienna, in the heart of Europe, so they know the Europe very well. They have also kind of, taken a lot of sophistication from the European way of working, European way of, handling such things. But that said, at the same time, the question is now is that the picture is a little bit different now. Today, the reality is that big imports like India and China have become much stronger. And OPEC, beyond a point, Saudi Arabia in particular, can't ignore them. And the United States has become more pragmatic in the sense they want to see countries like India to grow. They want to see Japan to be stable. They don't want any chaos, especially at the time when the U.S. is heading for the presidential election.
Right.
Their influence on Saudi Arabia is not the same as it used to be. But now Saudi Arabia is member of BRICS, which means that India gains some, extra, edge over Saudi Arabia in terms of influencing them. So there are multiple factors in play. That's what I said. Demand, supply, no big change. And as far as the influence of America, yes, it's dwindling. It's not the same what it used to be on Saudi Arabia. But then China and India can play much bigger role. Let us see the headline. Only 2 days ago, Saudi Crown Prince was in India.
Right.
And India raised this issue at the highest level, at the level of Prime Minister. And Saudi Crown Prince said, yes, we are sensitive to it and we'll see, what we can do.
Okay.
So that means the engagements have already happened.
So, Mr. Taneja, final question then. What's your sense for India going forward? I mean, this is another country which is going for elections. $92 doesn't work for us because we still import nearly 85% of our crude requirements. What's your sense on the Indian demand going forward? Because that in the last few months has also seen a decline. And what price do you think India finds fair?
Good question. You see, what is energy security for India? That is securing supply. But what is energy security for Saudi Arabia? Securing demand.
Yeah.
They want this refinery to come up in Maharashtra. And India okayed this. India and Saudi Arabia decided just 2 days ago to fast-track the refinery. And this refinery is going to help Saudi Arabia in terms of, sustain and secure demand. So we are helping them. So the point is that therefore, we are going to put pressure on them to kind of to push the prices down. Anything that is more than $80 per barrel, $80 per barrel Brent is a bad news for India, bad news for the United States, bad news especially since both India and the United States have already switched to the election mode. And as I said, oil is a political commodity. And as I said, if you go strictly as an economist, as a classic economist, you say, oh, no, I don't care about geopolitics. I care only about demand supply. Even on that, when you look at demand supply, there is no significant difference. When the price, then why the prices are up?
Oh, well, absolutely. And having said that, we still are looking at the prices at 92. And as you yourself said, Mr. Taneja, there's a possibility we might look at 95 and 100 even, but that's not sustainable. And with the way geopolitics seems to be working right now, you could be looking at the prices coming off from those kind of levels. Thank you as always for joining us. Well, that's the view coming in for the crude oil prices from the expert.